Let's talk about today's video, guys. We've had some weapons leaked to us. Matter of fact, they leaked to us last week. These are, of course, the dungeon weapons. We're going to go over the roles associated with these weapons, as well as the pulse rifle premonition. So first up, we have the sniper right here. Apostate. Apostate. Dude, did I say that right the second time? Oh my God. It's like I suddenly saw the word differently after the first time. I don't know. But this one is a 140 round per minute sniper. As you see, it has like that same look and skin similar to like, what was that sniper in year one? What was it? I gotta look it up. I can't even remember. Copperhead. Ah, yes. I actually remembered it. I looked it up just to make sure just now. But it's got the same look and vibe as Copperhead. It's got a 40 zoom, 42 range, 47 stability, magazine of 5, reload speed 65, handling at 68, aim assist 73, recoil direction, which really doesn't matter, at 49. Now, it is present in the energy slot, which is kind of good as it allows for things in our kinetic slot to be rocked, last word, huckleberry, weapons that are really good up close, and does really well against AP shotgunners. Now, the roles in that first column, which is like socket 1 right here, shows all of our different perks here associated with our barrels. You got hammer force rifling, arrowhead break, chamber compensator, corkscrew, extended barrel, fluted barrel, which has kind of been like the main one to go for, right? Like many people like fluted barrel on their snipers. You also got full bore, hammer force rifling, polygonal rifling, and small bore. Now underneath it is the magazine perks. That is socket 2. You got alloy magazine, accurized rounds, appended mag, tactical mag, extended mag, steady rounds, and flared magwell. Now I'm assuming the yellow highlighted that you see right there, maybe that's like a curated role. I'm not too sure. I'm not a data miner. I know this is all done by like Nger and other people in like Raid Secrets. I'm under the assumption though that the yellow means like curated. Either way it goes in that column, I like accurized rounds, guys, at least for PvP. And I really don't know if you would ever want to use this for PvE. I mean, there's so many other better snipers for PvE, especially snipers that can roll with things like firing line. Apostate is not the sniper I would bring into PvE, just simply because of his archetype. Now, in our next row here, we have Snapshot Sights, a very good choice. Outlaw, moving target, firmly planted, shield disorient, and Rangefinder. Now, Rangefinder is an interesting one. Currently, right now, you've got things like Twilight Oath, which is a very popular sniper. It cannot roll with Rangefinder. And even the new sniper Omniscient from the Raid also cannot roll with Rangefinder. They've got good perks everywhere else, but people are saying that Rangefinder is going to make all the difference here. And that's normally how Bungie gives things value, right? They throw on a trait that normally is not present on those weapons in a specific archetype. Sometimes it's a bust, sometimes it's the best thing in the world. I'm going to lean more toward the best in the world, simply because things like Supremacy as well doesn't come with Rangefinder, and none of these other 140s come with Rangefinder. And they're already like glorified scout rifles, especially here on PC. The problem is in a lot of situations, at least when you get into like super long ranges, they kind of lose their stickiness a little bit. So having that extra zoom magnification as well as that range might enable these snipers to still stay amazing even at great ranges. Now underneath it, we also have moving target, snapshot sights. Again, like I said, the yellow has got to be a curated role, because notice how it's like swapping out things in terms of these traits. Notice that snapshot is actually in this next column. It was just present in that first column because it's probably part of a curated role. But then you also got quick draw, rapid hit, multi-kill clip, and box breathing. Now box breathing is a pretty interesting one. I'm pretty sure box breathing, even on a 140, can one-shot a super, especially in something like this sandbox. Now, I'm not sure if I would want box breathing. Again, when it comes to shutting down supers, you almost want to have like 2 different roles, right? So me personally, I would actually like things like snapshot or quick draw, combined with something like Rangefinder. And then if I needed to shut down a super, maybe have a box breathing version of this available to do so. Multi-kill clip and rapid hit, I don't know. At least in PvP, and I know I'm like speaking from a PvP perspective purely right now, but this is a 140 round per minute sniper. There's so many other snipers, so Survivor, Tranquility, that outclasses many of our other snipers simply due to having firing line. So this sniper may have an opportunity to do well in something like PvE with maybe multi-kill clip or rapid hit, but I just wouldn't rely on it. But that is this sniper, guys. Moving on though, we have the shotgun. Oh man, the Blasphemer. This is a precision shotgun, and as you can see, it has like that look. like precision shotguns. Kind of looks like unification from here. They got like that curve in, right? That chaperone look, that love handle look, you know? That's kind of what Blasphemer has here. Now, it's actually present in the kinetic slot, which is pretty freaking amazing. The only other precision shotgun that we have present in the kinetic slot is Chaperone. Now, there's not too many shotguns that I would say take skill, but I'm actually all right with most slug shotguns. I've got a pretty decent, good bone structure. Gnor's Axe, I've got a couple good rolls on that. And of course, Chaperone's pretty nice as well. Where this one fits seems to be like right there in the middle between all of them. In terms of range, stability, handling seems pretty decent at 49. Aim assist at 61, which is actually like double what most of our slug shotguns are at. You know, when you take things like unification, good bone structure, Gnor's Axe, they all have aim assist values between like 30 and 35. So this is a big jump here in aim assist, being outclassed only by that of Chaperone. Now, when we look at the perks here, in that first row, we've got Arrowhead Break, Chamber Compensator, Corkscrew Rifling, Extended Barrel, Fluted Barrel, Full Bore, Hammer Forge Rifling, Polygonal Rifling, and Small Bore. Now, normally we would say, at least when it comes to all shotguns, is that the more range, the better, right? Did a review on Gnor's Axe about 3-4 months ago, where we tested the max range on that slug shotty versus a roll that like did not do anything for our range stat. Turns out, there really wasn't a difference there in damage. Most slug shotguns cap out at 12 meters with something like opening shot. And without something like opening shot, you're looking at somewhere like 11, maybe 11 and a half meters. Can't remember off the top of my head. Just know, when it comes to these slug shotguns, the perks and the traits are the most important thing. So like I said in the Gnor's Axe review, if you happen to get a good roll on one of these slug shotguns, but it didn't come with something like a ranged masterwork, or maybe a ranged barrel, for the love of God, don't scrap it. It's very much still a contender. And some would argue that anything past 65 range is wasted, as the game already caps you anyways. So something just to keep in mind. Let's move on to the next row. We've got high caliber rounds, assault mag, a pendant mag, tactical mag, extended mag, steady rounds, accurate rounds, and light mag. Now, like we said, range is kind of capped. Considering that this thing already has like 62 range, if you want to go accurate rounds just to make yourself feel better, by all means, go ahead. I do find it interesting that this thing comes with high caliber rounds. Kind of want to see that in PvE on a slug shotgun of all things. You also got assault mag, which is one thing that I would look at, considering that it actually increases our rounds per minute. But the trait columns is where things get extremely important. We've got outlaw, Genesis, quick draw, auto loading holster, pulse monitor, outlaw, and snapshots. Now I'm really kind of getting confused here. It's like some things are being loaded into those yellow columns as curated, and some of those things are not. So whether or not they're going to be present in the random roll versions and less specified, hence why we have outlaw in yellow, and then we also have outlaw on the plug 5. I'm assuming outlaw is present on the curated roll, but is also present as one of our random rolls. Now, quick draw on these shotguns is extremely nice. I mean, you want to have it out in your hand as fast as you could possibly get it out there. I have it on my good bone structure. It makes life so much easier because you're already having to do a lot here. You're having to get set up, aim, make sure the shot is a precision shot, which means most people that aim with a shotgun don't know how to do. They don't know how to aim at the head. It takes entirely too much work. But for us that have to deal with those guys that are rushing us with a mindbender or retold, it's nice to have quick draw, which will allow for the weapon to be ready for them very quickly. I would not recommend Snapshot Sights. I have used a precision frame with Snapshot. It's not bad. It's just not needed. Now, the final column there, we have Hipfire Grip, Rampage, Opening Shot, Triple Tap, and Swashbuckler. Yes, Swashbuckler times 5 will allow this thing to one-shot body shot. I would not recommend it though. Opening Shot by far is the best trait in this column. A lot of the things that we see here are traits that are already present either on Gnor's Axe or good bone structure. The real and only benefit that Blasphemer has is that it's present in the kinetic slot, which will allow us to use other things in that energy slot if we so wish. This weapon will probably reach the same limitations as our other legendary precision shotguns with that range cap at 12 meters with something like opening shot. If that's the case, really, opening shot is like the main thing you want to have on this thing. Like I said, default range is already at 62. You're already reaching that potential cap. So opening shot, hands down the main thing to be looking for if you're looking for a shotgun with the best one-hit kill potential. Quick draw, it's just a cherry on top for that immediate swap. and then everything else is gravy. As far as PvE goes, this is an interesting one because I don't really use precision frame shotguns in PvE. Part of me wants to go out of my way and get swashbuckler ×5, rock something like assault mag, and auto-loading holster. If you happen to be in like stomp territory of most bosses, and you probably will be, you're using a shotgun, if you can keep yourself from dying, pulse monitor might actually work pretty well for you. Maybe throw on something like backup mag, pulse monitor, have the thing automatically reloading to yourself. But for me, inside of PvE, especially if I'm rocking like a melee-based loadout, rocking things like swashbuckler with this, with something like assault mag, or really any magazine beneficial perk here, and then auto-loading holster where you can just swap off of it and let the weapon reload itself, should be pretty nice, boys. Now moving on, we've got the rocket launcher here. Like, we haven't seen a million rocket launchers. The Heretic, present in the power slot, boys. It's a 25 round per minute rocket launcher, which kind of puts it in the same category as like Bad Omens from Gambit, Timebreaker, Curtain Call. Like, at one time, Curtain Call was like one of the best weapons in the game. Rocket launchers are kind of a weird one. I really don't use them, like outside of the exotic ones, right? That first row right there, you've got quick launch, volatile launch, confined launch, countermass, hard launch, linear compensator, quick launch, and smart drift control. Underneath it, you've got implosion rounds, high velocity rounds, alloy casing, black powder, high velocity rounds, implosion rounds, and impact casing. Impact casing, of course, increases our impact damage. I don't even have the number off the top of my head. That's how much I use rocket launchers. Now the next column, which is our traits, which is kind of weird. This one comes with Snapshot, Demolitionists, Threat Detector, and Rangefinder. Threat Detector on a rocket launcher. It's a great way for you to die. And then underneath it, you got Quick Draw, Cluster Bombs, Ambitious Assassin, and Kill Clip. I don't know, guys. Like most rocket launchers, you're just gonna throw it in your vault and probably never use it. I do like that this one comes with Demolitionists. Considering that we've been going over so many builds revolving around our grenades, Demolitionists combined with something like Cluster Bombs for that AoE kill down could maybe proc your grenade back on one blast. I guess considering how many you kill, unless there's like a cooldown for Demolitionists, which is like the bane of my existence. The amount of cooldowns that we run into on a regular basis. Hopefully that's not the case. And if that is a perk that will work well here, you could have a rocket launcher that could be potentially nasty and just helping your neutral game. Outside of that, guys, there's nothing here that looks valuable. Out of all of the weapons, though, that we have looked at, the slug shotgun and the sniper, though, both of those are kind of like tied in the most intriguing ones. You know, Rangefinder being present there on Apostate, Blasphemer essentially being like a very god roll, good bone structure, or Gnor's axe, but being able to load it out on a kinetic slot. Some major benefits to having these weapons, at least in opening your loadout up to use other things. Now, the pulse rifle. Now, this is actually the Eris Morn pulse rifle. The problem is the thing you gotta get to actually fully unlock this is present in the dungeon. You know how there's like an item that you have to find for that weapon or that associated weapon to fully unlock it? Premonition is the same thing, except that its item is present in the dungeon. This is a 340 round per minute pulse, and we don't get too many of those. We've got Redrix, we've got Einstein, and that's about it. That's pretty much it that I like. And there is, of course, Relentless, but that's still stuck in static rolls. It's a good static roll, but regardless, it's still stuck in year one. So anytime we ever see a 340 pulse rifle, which is never, it's always exciting. These weapons can 2 burst inside of Crucible. They've gotten a lot more lethal in this sandbox. They do take a steady hand, like a surgeon's hand, man. You got to go out there and finesse them headshots, which actually takes us to the rolls themselves, guys. A number of different options here. I mainly want to focus on the trait columns. Rangefinder is something I want to use on this thing, hands down. Over all the traits here present, 340s are notorious for being an almost 2 burst for you, right? Like, unless you got a very good rolled one, many of them will start to receive damage fall off, and even dropping by 1 damage starts to lengthen that time to kill. So I'm hoping something like Rangefinder here is going to turn this pulse rifle almost into a scout rifle. Now, in that final trait column, you've got Demolitionist, you've got Head Seeker, you've got Kill Clip. Really, it's going to come down to you. I actually want to use Dragonfly. I know that sounds crazy. I've been falling more and more in love with Dragonfly here lately. Even in PvP, I post up with a weapon, I throw a Dragonfly spec on that thing, and we get crazy, man. And no, it doesn't get me like massive amounts of kills or anything, but it does tack on some extra damage. Considering that this weapon already does a whopping 34 per crit, maybe, just maybe, Dragonfly damage on an opponent could result in the next opponent, say they were standing in that AoE effect, being able to be 1 burst. Possible, okay? I know, everybody just wants to jump up and say Kill Clip is the way. If I gotta use Kill Clip on a weapon to make it useful, I just put it down, okay? Like, I know there's some weapons that do great with Kill Clip, but my god, can it get boring. Head Seeker. I do like the idea of Head Seeker on this thing, but I don't know if it will actually make it more forgiving. You're hitting 30 34 per crit and 21 per body. Technically, already, you could kill a lot of Guardians in 5 crits in 1 body that are 5 resilience or less. Now, that's 5 resilience or less depending on numbers being rounded. Could be only 4 resilience. Regardless, though, Headseeker, I don't believe is going to really benefit this too much, other than the fact that it will probably allow you to still 5 crit in 1 body most max resilience Guardians. So there is some value here with this trade. I just don't know how much value we're going to have. Obviously, some archetypes take advantage of this more. This could potentially be something that just adds a slight amount of forgiveness. But again, majority of your shots will have to be precision anyways if you're ever hoping to reach that 0.67 time to kill value. So overall, guys, those are our dungeon related weapons as well as premonition. We can yak it up, man. My lord. How long is this video? Too long. I don't mean to talk this long. Start getting carried away when we start talking about weapons. Anyways, fellas, let me know in the comments below what you think about them, which one you're excited about the most. Also, which one you want me to review first. I'm not sure if there's going to be like a lockout period. Maybe we're going to get like a weapon a day, or maybe they're just going to be all open to us tomorrow and just going to be all RNG. Either way it goes, we'll be reviewing all of these guys, as well as Xenophage and the new Pulse Rifle as soon as we track down a God Roll. So be looking out for that. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.